Welcome to my YouTube video guys. So in this tutorial I will be creating a blend material from scratch in Unreal Engine, and to create a blend material we are going to use a base texture, a blend texture and a alpha texture so that we can control the blend values. So let's not waste any time and let's just get into our video. So as you can see here, this is just an empty level that I have added just a lighting and floor. Okay, so now for our textures we are just gonna need a starter content. So how to get this starter content? We are just gonna go to add feature or content pack, content, and just add to project. I've already added this, so I'm not gonna add it again. Now if we go to our content browser, you can see there is like filter option. If you don't see it, you can just directly enable it from here. Like for example, if you need to just see the texture, you can just enable or disable it from here. So if we just go to our starter content and if we just go to our texture, we can see that there are all those textures that are present already that Unreal Engine gave. So I'm just gonna select our moss texture for the blend material and our brick plate texture for our base material. So I'm just gonna copy it, Ctrl C, and we are gonna create a new folder for it. We are just gonna name it master material. If you want, you can just set the color to whatever you want. For now, I'm just setting it to like a default red color. And now I'm just gonna paste the texture here. So now to create our material, we can just right click it and create a material. We're just gonna name it m_master material blend. And we are also gonna create a material instance for it. Now, to actually see it, we are just gonna create two simple cubes and a sphere. Now we can just add our material instance that we created to our sphere and cube mesh. Now we are just gonna open both our material instance and our main material. So now you can see this. We are gonna use this to add all our logic to our material. So for the base color, we are just gonna need our brick texture that we have copied. If we just directly plug it, you can see here that the base texture is applied. Now if we want to control the tiling for our texture, we need to create a node. So for that, we can just use a texture coordinate node. Okay, and to actually change the texture from here to like directly from the instance, what you have to do is you have to right click on it and convert it to parameter. So we are just gonna name it t_color base. Okay, so now for the texture coordinate, if you expand it, you can see that there are two options like U tiling and V tiling. To actually convert it in parameter, like you can see here, what you have to do is first we have to multiply it, and if you and you have to append it. So if we do append vector, and then when you press 1 and left click on the button, it will create a constant node. You can just directly right click and convert it to parameter and just name it U tiling base and just set the default value to 1. Now we can just copy it and paste it, and we can change the name to V tiling. Now if we connect it and apply it, you can see in the instance that there are two options that are available that you can change. So if we enable it and if we change it, you can see that we can change the U and V tiling of the object. So now our tiling is done. Now if we want to offset our texture on U axis and V axis, or either X or Y axis, what we can do is we can create a panner node. Now what will be the time is a constant that has a value of 1, so that it will not move. Now for the speed, we can actually just use the same node that we created here. We just have to change the naming. We can just name it U offset base and V offset base. We can set the default value to 0 and 0. And if we apply, we can see here that if we change the U value, it will go in the U axis, and if we change the V value, it will go to the Y axis. Okay. So now if we want to rotate our texture, how to do that? We can just use a custom rotator node. And for the rotation center, where we want is like in the middle point. So it will be vector 2 and the x-axis will be 0.5 and y will be 0.5. And for the rotation angle, we can just create a constant, convert it to parameter, and we can just name it rotation angle base. And we can just divide it, press D and left click to make a divide node. We can just divide it by 360 degrees. Now if we apply, and if we check our instance, you can just put any value, 45 to make it 45 degree, 90 to make it 90 degree. According to whatever you want, you can just set the rotation. Now our rotation done, our offset done, and our tiling done. So now what if we want to add desaturation and tint to our texture? So how to add that? So if we make a node of desaturation, and if we plug it directly here, you can see that it is getting desaturated. But not every time we want the desaturation to be applied to a material, right? So we need a switcher. So how we can create a switcher is, we can just search static switch parameter value, and we can just name it should use desaturation. Desaturation. Okay. Now if it is true, then you can see that the desaturation is applied. But if it is false, we can just directly drag it to our texture slot. So now if we enable it, you can see the desaturation is getting applied. So same for the tint, what we have to do is, we can just copy it. Wait, let me change the name first. Okay. So we can just copy it and we can change the name to tint base. Okay. So for the tint, what we are going to do is, if you press 3 and left click, you can get a color node. You can just convert it to parameter and you can just name it tint color base. And if you multiply it with a constant, you will get a tint intensity that you can control. Just make the default value 1 and connect it to multiply. Also change the default value of the color according to whatever you want. You can actually change it from the instance later on. So what we are gonna do is, we are gonna overlay on top of it. So we are gonna make a blend overlay node. For the base, we are gonna take our base texture. For the blend, we are gonna take our tint. So now the result will go to true value, and if it is false, it will just correctly go to false. So now if you enable the default value, you can see that the tint is applied. Okay. So now our master material for the base color is done. You can just make a comment and write it base material logic. So now we are just going to use the same material logic for our blend material. So we're just gonna change the name for each of the node from base to blend. So I'm gonna fast forward the scene so that you don't have to waste any time. So yeah, see you later. Also here we are gonna change our blend texture to our moss texture that we added. Okay, so now we got our base material and we got our blend material. So now what we are gonna do is we are gonna create a lerp node so that we can actually blend it using the alpha. So for base, we can just plug it to A channel, and for our blend material, we can plug it to our B channel. Okay. So yeah, and for the alpha, what we are gonna use is we are gonna create a constant. We are gonna name it blend intensity. And we are gonna give a default value of 0.5, and you can connect it to our base color. Now you can see that it is gonna blend it. So if I apply and if I drag it and if I see in our level, you can see that the blend is working correctly, right? If you make it 0, it will be our base material. If you make it 1, it will be our blend material. If you make it 0.5, it will be the blend between both. So you can see that. For now, we are just gonna use a blend intensity right now. We are just gonna use a constant for now. But in the next part, we are gonna create a proper logic for the alpha. We will be using alpha texture to create. We are gonna blend it from top to bottom using linear gradient. We are gonna blend from left to right using linear gradient. We are gonna create a noise styling, noise intensity, and all that for blending. And so yeah, let's see you in the next video, guys.